Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today, we get to chat with Judge Patricia Summe, a circuit judge in Kenton County. And Judge Summe, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us. The Justice Center shut down a few months back, and I had someone the other day say, well, boy, the judges obviously aren't working. But that's not the case at all. You've never had a day off since this thing has started, you and the team there. So maybe you could just talk about all the things that have continued on while the building has been essentially limited with the public. So maybe you could just walk us through a bit of that.
Thanks, Kris. It's great to be here with you, and welcome to the Justice Center on behalf of all the judges working here and the Justice Center. And one would have thought when we closed down that we were all going to go home. And in fact, all my friends are going, what are you doing? Well, we were busy from day one. My last jury trial ended Friday, March 13th. On that day, actually, we thought about separating everyone out a little bit so they could finish their deliberation, but they chose not to do that. And so by the next week, we were spending the most of our day trying to reschedule, answering phones, getting equipment in place so that we could make sure our hearings were up. We've been very creative with our remote. First week I was at Home Depot a whole lot before you had to be counted to go into Home Depot, buying lots of HDMI cords for everybody so we could be up and running. And so we've spent more time doing paperwork, and the paperwork is just not stopped. Neither have any of the hearings. All the hearings from the Kenton County Jail, the detention center, have been remote. And so the jail had to adapt to Zoom and Skype. I've never had to Zoom or Skype otherwise, but now we do that regularly with Boone County, Campbell County, Grant County. So everybody has to plan a schedule to be able to get to all the other county jails so we can make sure that we have hearings, to look at bonds, to get people released, to get people sentenced, taking lots of pleas over Zoom, which is new and a little frightening because you're used to having eyes on people. So sure. Everyone's very busy, and because of all the extra communication to make sure people are aware of what's going on, lots more time on the phone and on meetings. So I can assure you, every one of your judges is pretty tired and thought they might have vacation, and none of that happened for us. But that's okay because it's unusual, and it's important that we try to keep the system rolling for everybody's safety.
And I've heard nothing but great things about cooperation between it sounds like the attorneys, but especially your teams who are not very big by themselves, still getting an immense amount of work done.
Yes, they have. I mean, the secretaries have been great. The clerks have been great. The public has been great. So I think at first a lot of people were very concerned. We have a jury panel that has been extended. It's going to go into its 6 months. It's never met, but they are not complaining about being extended, as well as the grand jury being extended. And no one said, I'm afraid to come in. They've just said, what are the parameters going to be? And so everybody wants to do their civic duty. And that's really important because, as you know, the third branch of government is so important to our freedoms.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess you've been, all the while doing the normal day-to-day, adding this technology burden to you, still having to make tough decisions with the needs of the community in the justice system. You're then having to try and plan for how does this thing get back to quote unquote normal in the building being open. Maybe you could walk us through a bit of that conversation you've had. Is we've got the Kenton County Justice Center, which I always tell people that's where the real judges are. I'm the play judge who stands over the other building, but you've got that whole building. You've now got a plan for how to get the public in there with the attorneys and their clients, et cetera. So maybe walk through some of that thought process that you're now having to go through.
Will do. You may not be a real judge, but I don't get yelled at about taxes as much as you do, so it's okay. I'm down here in one of our spaces on the second floor, just because I wanted everybody to be able to see the doors of the Justice Center. And they've looked pretty much like that for the past 2 months.
Quiet there, Judge.
It's quiet, and it's been a little sad because we're used to seeing a lot of people, and really working with the community. So while remote is fine, it's been a little disheartening because we're used to getting our hands into the community and helping them. So the major part of the plan, I think, that everybody has to remember is we are going to open June 1st. And it's I guess what you call a soft close open. I mean, it's going to be, people can come only if they can't remote. So most everything is going to continue to be remote. If you can't remote to your hearing, then you have to follow all the CDC regulations. So we're very busy putting down stripings and markings, and you have to wear a face mask, and you'll have to be 6 feet distance. So we've been busy doing that and planning that for the past 4 weeks, actually, because you want to get everybody on board and everybody comfortable, because this building, like every building, also has high-risk individuals who work here. So we're trying to help plan for that. So once you get into the building, it won't be as difficult. Lots of signs to tell you where to go. We all hope that you're patient and flexible, because the judges will know that maybe if you're standing in line, you're not in their courtroom at that particular time that you're supposed to be. So no one's going to be in a hurry to hold somebody in contempt because they didn't show up. Yeah. We have gotten permission from the city of Covington to put 6-foot markings around the building so we can help direct people into it and we don't get overcrowded, because as you know, everybody can only have a 33 1/3% capacity. So we're trying to abide by that. And of course, everybody's very used to calling the courthouse. So if you've got any questions, call the clerk, call the judge's offices. Those are all listed on the Court of Justice website. In fact, it's really exciting. Kenton County is a web experiment. They've just given the judges their own page. So if you go to the Kentucky Court of Justice site and you go to the county clerk piece, there's a place there to hit for judges, and we'll have our own general orders up there. So everyone can go and look. You can also get on CourtNet2 yourself, and that will give you your dates and times. If that's too difficult, then just call as you usually have, and everybody will try to make sure you get to where you need to be.
So, Judge, you did say, some of these dates, there are the county justice centers around the Commonwealth. Who makes that call in terms of opening up or closing? That's something I've been asked by a lot of people, and I think it's important for the public to know.
The Supreme Court is the owner of all the facilities, and so the Supreme Court made the call for June 1st. I think you talked to a lot of judges who were ready to go whenever anybody said we're ready to go. So they chose to say we're going to have a soft opening on June 1st. The protocol is remote first. That's what they want us to do, and then moving into opening to make sure everybody can get there. And jury trials will unfortunately not start till August 1st. And so I think that's an accommodation for lots of things. And I wasn't in that decision making, but we're looking forward to being able to start jury trials again. And that's going to start on August 1st.
It's something, I guess, to be aware of. Those who might be coming to the building, and you alluded to this, if the building is packed, so to speak, there's a lot of people there or lining up, they may be outside on the sidewalks unlike ever before. So being prepared for that and planning for the worst, I guess, might be the best case scenario.
Well, it's packed, and you've been to a lot of those webinars yourself, Judge, and you know that it's those elevator spaces that everybody's worried about. And so we can only have 2 people on an elevator to make sure that they're spaced. So we've got all the stairwells marked so people can come down them and out. Some of them come up, but you can't go up the stairwell unless there's room for you on the floor you're going to, but you can certainly come down. So yeah, we're well aware there's going to be some congestion. But as you know, the Kenton County Justice Center was designed to take the biggest flow of people on the first floor. So 1A is on the first floor. So that will feed in through a different one of the scanners out front to begin with on the morning to handle that larger crowd, and then feed in and wind through the pews in there so they can get a volume in and get the volume out pretty quickly, then be able to sanitize it for the next hearing in there. So we know the building, we've been here a long time, and so we've been pretty conscientious about trying to make sure we can get people in and then back to their safe zones as quickly as possible.
Well, nobody has a feel for the complexity of this like you do. And I know you've been working on it for weeks and weeks to make sure it's rolls out the best way possible. So thanks for all of that.
Well, we appreciate it. And we've got a little notice we've put together, and hopefully that will go up after everybody corrects our spelling on Tuesday. And we have an internal plan that has all that laid out if anybody really needs to see it, but it's really boring stuff about how to put down footprints and stuff. But, so we appreciate giving the opportunity to let people know, stay flexible, stay patient, make sure you find out about your hearing. If you have digital ability to remote in, please do that. We'll try to get that information to you. If you're represented by an attorney, they can give you the remote information. We're doing pleas with people who are, believe it or not, in parking lots and at work, and we're trying to get everybody where they are so that they can stay in a safe place, but yet get their court business accomplished.
Indeed. Well, as always, great job. Thanks for taking the time to update everybody on today, and be safe, and hopefully everything rolls off with your soft opening really well.
And we're excited to see everybody come back in, but very slowly. Thanks so much.
Welcome to the Kenton County Justice Center entryway. As you can see, there are several stairwells. These will be used, as well as the sidewalk, to have spaces for persons to wait while they're getting into the courtroom. You'll approach this way. Over here are the drop boxes for all the court papers if you don't need to go inside. There are 2 entry doors. They'll both now be used. One was for exit, re-entry. So the left lane over there will be used for entry to 1A. This will be used for entry to all the other services, and this will be used for entry of police officers, attorneys, and personnel. You'll come through here. Be scanned. If you beep, you won't be let in. And then most persons are going to 1A and then around to the elevator. It will all be timed, and by next week, when we open up again, it will be all striped. This is the interior of the entryway to the Kenton County Justice Center. When you come in on June 1st, if you cannot come by remote, which is the preference, you will come in for 1A to the far left. They set the scanner to the right will be used for individuals going to other courtrooms and for service to the clerk's office. And the far right, without the scanner, will be used for attorneys, police officers, and personnel, and they will be wanded as they come in, as well as their items x-rayed. Of course, the preference is for you to try to do most of your business, if not all of it, by remote.